I want to start off by thanking a brother who sent me a comment about young women today dressing slutty, and if I could do a video on how to still look sexy without looking like a whore. And so this is for you. And I wanna preface this with a little joke that I heard from Dave Chappelle, which actually is so on point. He says that he was in a club once with his friends, and there was a woman that they noticed, and she was dressed very provocatively, and she had her breasts pushing out of the top of this dress, and it was a short, revealing dress that was up to her butt cheeks, and so he said he went over and he tried to holler at her, and the woman replied to him that, just because I'm dressed sexy does not mean I'm a whore. And so he says, imagine we were confused. So he says that's like him putting on a police officer's uniform, and he's out in the middle of the street and people come running over. Oh, officer, help us, we need help. And he turns around and tells them, just because I'm wearing this police officer's uniform does not mean I'm the police. And so essentially what he was saying is that, some of you women are wearing the whore's uniform. So don't be surprised if people think that's what you are. So I'm going to get into this video, and I'm going to show you a few examples because I realize that some of you may be clueless. But there are lots of ways that you can still look sexy and not look trashy. So if you don't want to be confused between what you are and what you look like, then I would say maybe you should tone it down just a little bit. And I'm also going to the first thing I'm going to do is give men a heads up as to why some women choose to dress like this. It might surprise you. They're not always looking for sex. As a matter of fact, most of the time, they're not looking for sex. But there is something they're looking for, and I'm going to tell you what it is. So stay tuned, and God bless. And thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Despite protests against being objectified, women still want to be thought of as attractive, and purely on a physical level. In fact, no matter how liberated or educated women are, deep down inside, they still want to be hot. And even older women, we still want to be considered attractive, so that's why we bother to fix ourselves up. But with a lot of women, the kind of hot that they want to be is the kind that makes every man want to have sex with them. And when it comes to attractiveness, what men want is incidental, unimportant, and is really where the problem starts. Because with little else to go on, men judge a woman's interests in sex from the way that she is dressed. Now, you might say, well, I'm a guy, I don't do that. But think about it. Most guys believe that women dress sexy to get a guy. But that's because most guys don't understand women. When it comes to choosing what outfit to wear, attracting men doesn't even figure into it unless she's a prostitute or a whore or a thot. Choose one. Now, to better illustrate my point, imagine that you see this hot chick wearing a skirt so short you can see her belly button and a top that's showing cleavage that looks like a melting Arctic glacier. Okay, not a good analogy, but it was the only thing I could come up with. Naturally, you're going to think, well, she must want sex, because if she didn't, she'd be wearing jogging pants and flats instead of a tight skirt and 5-inch CFM pumps. And you figure out what that means. That makes sense, right? To the guys out there? But you'd be wrong. Because as it turns out, there's really only one reason that women dress sexy, for the most part. Like I said, there are exceptions to this rule. But the ones who dress like whores but are not are simply attempting to get attention. That's really all they want. They don't want sex. They don't want a boyfriend. They want attention. They want to stand out from the crowd. They want people to notice them. When it comes to sex, for many women, it's unnecessary. It's even superfluous or a favor that they exchange to get something else that they want. Now, there's almost no correlation between dressing like a slut and actually being one. And this probably explains the confusion about guys always thinking that girls are asking for it. In fact, it's very few incidences where the woman who's dressed like that is actually thinking in those terms. The whole point, as I stated, of dressing sexy for the women who do this and are not looking for sex is to be the center of attention. And not just because it fills a childhood void left by their father's neglect, although it does that too. So fathers, you should also be active in your young girls' lives. And this will help them to not seek the attention of other men when they grow older. It's not even about being the most popular or the most noticed woman at a club or a party, or the woman who has the most social clout. Because when it comes down to it, women are like little frogs, just like men. They want their needs to be met to the fullest extent. And some of these needs, which include adoration, require the participation of other people. And getting that participation requires some type of leverage. And there's ways that women can get leverage. There's actually a variety of ways that you can attract attention. You can attract it through a talent like music or art, or through business success or fame, or you can bend people to your will. And that usually only works on nerds. But rather than using these means, personal achievement, business savvy, or mystical savvy, many women simply choose the easy way out by disrupting societal convention. And I guess I'm trying to say it in a fancy way, but they wear clothes that show their lady parts, necklines that dip it low, and skirts and higher heels that, accentuate their body parts. So whenever a woman who's wearing these overtly sexually clothes enters a room, the men will instantly notice her whether they want to or not. And this involuntary Darwinian reaction, because that's what they act like, a bunch of apes when they notice these type of women, to a sexualized woman dumps a ton of hormones into the bloodstream, which amps up the systems in preparation for having sex. And unfortunately, in most cases, that will never happen. So a woman who dresses slutty when she doesn't actually want sex is guilty of false advertising. Or some men might call it being a cock tease. And such provocative attire is a gross misrepresentation of intent. And it has real negative physiological effects on a man. So you would wonder then, why aren't these women, why don't they stop doing it? Especially if they know that men are going to pick up the wrong vibe and act on it, like I told you in the Chappelle joke. But these women, I don't believe they're out to hurt men by displaying more thighs and breasts than KFC. I think that men are just the collateral damage. The women who dress this way, they do that not because they know that the men are looking, but they know that women are looking too. And they know that it's going to incite some type of jealousy in women who are looking, because why, ladies? Women are competitive. And maybe not all of you, but a lot of women are very, very competitive. So those who display their assets prominently for the same reason, they do this for the same reason that guys leave their car keys on the bar, to flaunt them. You've got women with 34 double Ds who will come and walk up to the woman who's less endowed and push them in her face. In turn, these less endowed women, they have to use what they've got, and some of them go to the clubs in short skirts and no underwear. And it's a race of exposed female flesh, and the men benefit the most, but not without a lot of confusion. And to be fair, men do the same kind of preening. It's like a man who drives up to the club in a Ferrari Spider. Now, he's not driving up to the front of the car because he's racing at Le Mans after dinner. He's driving that car to make other guys look like pathetic Honda Accord driving losers. And this is pure monkey behavior. Monkey see, monkey do. So he's going to incite jealousy among the guys who wish that they had the Ferrari. And revealing clothes accomplish the same thing for women. Places like Victoria's Secrets are an ace in the hole because all women in the room are equal. Although all of the women may be of equal attractiveness, the sluttier dressed woman will always win the battle for attention. And while men may notice women pretty quickly in general, they will notice the woman in the 5-inch heels and a miniskirt a lot faster. Sexual attention is a kind of currency that women can use to get free drinks, free meals, and damn near anything else they want. And the girl who gets the most male attention gets her pick of the richest. But not all women dress like sluts to attract the alpha male either. A lot of them dress to be the alpha chick. Because dressing hot is first and foremost about climbing to the top of a beauty-based status structure and outranking other women in the prettiness pecking order. For women, being out in public is like being in a beauty contest, except that the grand prize isn't flowers and a crown and a sash. It's attention domination. So it's a power move. I get it. You do it to compete in a society's hierarchy of attractiveness. They do it to one up other women, and they do it to make other women look like prudes. But there are other ways that you can get attention and still be sexy without being slutty. And that is what this is all about.